Hello everyone, this is Monali Godambe from Kundecha Education Academy, Oshiwara. Today we are going to study one of my favorite topics, or rather a topic that is very close to my heart. Okay, in science, it is called birds. And I know you all being my students, you all also have that little affinity towards the wildlife and the birds. Okay, are we all excited? Let's begin. So let's start the chapter with a little poem. Big birds, little birds, fat birds and skinny birds. Into their nest they go for a rest. Running through the park, I hear birds chirping. Down they go to find food for their chicks. By Jensen and Akshay. That's a cute poem, right? Great. Now let's begin the class. Tell me, can you, I'm sure you all know what all these birds are, yeah, in the pictures. So these are few of the common birds that we find in our vicinity or in our surrounding. The first picture is of a crow. The second one is a pigeon. The third one is a sparrow. The fourth one is a parrot. Actually, it's a parakeet and not a parrot, but yes, we'll get to this later on. After the parrot or the parakeet is your peacock, and the last one is your duck. So these are a few common birds that we find in our surroundings. And you know what? We are a little blessed and we find more than those birds in our surrounding. Now, these two slides that I'm going to show you are just for you all to increase your knowledge, yeah, just for you to know. And we are going to do an activity related to this after we finish this topic, so pay attention. So how many of you have seen these birds? So the first one on the left you see is a common myna. This is one super friendly bird that you will find around. They will literally enter your house also. They're these tiny birds and they keep chirping chee chee chee. Yes, they're these tiny little birds who keep chirping. You find them in groups. When I was little, I don't know who told me. Some of my friend must have told me that when you see two common mynas, it's good luck. When you see three common mynas, then you ask for a wish. When you see four common mynas, then you're going to hit a lottery. It's just a fun thing. But that's how I remember this bird, common myna. Yeah. So now have a good look at this bird and try to remember if you have seen this bird around. Yeah. The next common bird that we find around is a kite. This is a raptor, like it's a flesh-eating bird. All right. It's pretty big. It looks like an eagle, but it's not an eagle. It's a kite. Now, just a little bit extra information on this kite is, how do you know whether it's a kite or an eagle? So if you look at the tail of this bird, where it's sitting or perched on that wire, it's forked. Forked is, it's divided into two parts, the tail, the tip of the tail. So when it's flying, you see that little M shape on the tail. That's when you know it's a kite. If it's an eagle flying overhead, you will see the tail as a triangle. It doesn't have that little fork in between. It's just a fun info I'm giving you all, yeah? Okay. And the third bird that is in this picture is the red-vented bulbul. You can call it just a bulbul. Have you seen this bird? This bird is a very intelligent one. It can mimic the sounds or mimic or copy the sounds of a lot of other birds. Yes, that is its defense mechanism. Nevertheless, all you have to remember is the pictures of these birds and keep an eye outside because you're going to spot them. Um, Slide shows a few other birds that are found around us. Yes, that beautiful looking yellow bird is the golden oriole, and we actually find this around. I don't know how many of you all live in that place around Kokilabin Hospital. There's a place called Model Town. I have seen so many golden orioles over there. You'll usually find these a little early in the morning when the sun is out, and they'll be at the tip of the branches where they're there to bask in the sun. Mostly you will see birds on the tip of the trees, like right on top. try looking over there. Yeah. Then after that is your Indian robin. This is a very nice fancy looking bird, Indian robin. It will eat insects and it is nice and black and white in color. You'll find this mostly on the floor because it eats insects. It wants to catch insects from the floor. Then there is a cuckoo. Do you know a cuckoo? Of course you know, koyal. So this is a male koyal and there is also a female koyal which looks a little different, but it's more or less the same way. So even this is commonly found around. You all are going to become bird watchers, okay, after this chapter. Great. And then the last one, the teeny tiny green barbet, that teeny tiny bird, is called the coppersmith or a barbet. Now why it's called coppersmith? Because it makes this very peculiar sound. Beep, 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 as if it's a coppersmith working. So that's why it's called a coppersmith or a barbet. You don't have to learn the names, nothing. This is just a fun thing to add to your chapter, okay? Because these are the birds that are found in your surrounding. Yeah, you'll keep in mind. Great. Let's move now to get back to what are the body parts of a bird. Like how we all have body parts, like we have a head, we have arms and legs and stomach. The same way, the birds also have different body parts. So birds are of different types. Some of them may be small, some are big, some could be brightly colored, and some could be dull. But they still have a certain amount of common features, a certain number of common features. Like they are the only living things whose bodies are covered with feathers. Do we have feathers? No. Does a dog have feathers? No, it doesn't. Does a fish have feathers? No, a fish also doesn't have feathers. So this peculiar thing of feathers is only found in birds. Now, apart from their bodies being covered by feathers, they also have certain other features, like they have one beak. Yeah, in this picture, it's pointed towards the beak from where they eat their grains or insects or whatsoever. So they have one beak, two eyes, two wings, and 2 feet with claws. Yes, we will come to each of these parts one by one and study them a little bit of more detail. But for now, let's remember the parts of the bird are divided into 5 parts. Rather, there are 5 different parts in a bird. One is your beak, wings, feathers, feet, and claws. Simple. Just keep in mind this pigeon and you will know. Rather, you all already know because you are my smart children. Okay, moving on to feet and claws. Now tell me, where do you all use your feet? Of course, we don't have claws. Claws are those pointy things that the bodies have or the animals have. We don't have claws. We just have simple nails. So can you tell me where do you all use your feet? Yes, you all run with your feet. You all jump with your feet. You all walk with your feet. And yeah, great. So let's find out what all do birds do. You know what? These birds do much beyond what we can do with their feet and claws. Let's study it. So birds use their feet to sit and walk. Apart from this, their feet end in claws that help them to hold on to branches. Do we need to go sit on branches? No. So we don't have claws, but birds need to grab onto the branches. Like you see these two beautiful birds that are kingfisher, okay, white-throated kingfisher. So they are sitting on a branch. So they need to grab the branch. So they need to have claws. If they had feet like us, you think they could be able to sit so comfortably? No, they would have fallen off the branch, right? So claws help them sit and hold on to the branches where they get their food from, right? Then some birds use their claws to hold the food that they eat. I have given you a picture of an owl who's holding a little rat in its claws. And you know what? Their claws are very, very powerful. They can actually hold on to bigger creatures like a rabbit and all also with their claws. They're very strong because of course these owls feed on these small creatures. So they use their claws to grab their food. Some use their claws to find worms from the ground. Like if you ever look at a chicken or a hen, you will forever see them digging in the soil, trying to find something, and then they'll peck. So what they're doing is they try, even a peacock for that matter. So they have claws to dig into the soil because they eat worms. Clear? Great. But then there are different kinds of birds who live in a different kind of surrounding. Take for instance a water bird. Okay, water birds like ducks and swans have a webbed feet. By webbed feet, I mean, there's a little picture which is encircled. There's a pink circle. Inside that, you see those feet of the swan. So webbed feet means there's skin in between the fingers or the digits. That's called webbed feet. Now, why do they need webbed feet? Because they need to swim. They live in water. Do we live in water? No. Do we need to swim all the time? No. So we don't have webbed feet. But if you remember, when we go scuba diving or snorkeling or sometimes even swimming, you wear these flipper-like shoes, those flippers. So yeah, so those are that's the kind of feet that the ducks have. So let's look at it a little bit more. Some birds like cranes, herons have long, long legs and thin toes. Why do they need long legs and thin toes? Simple. Because they have to wade through the water. If they had chintu legs, their bodies would dip in the water. If they had teeny tiny legs, their bodies would dip in the water. So they need long, thin legs so that they could walk in the water and catch their fish. Also, they need to walk in some muddy water. So they, in order to, avoid getting wet, they have long, thin legs. Now, can I tell you one fun fact about the duck's feet? Yes, a duck's feet has no nerves or blood vessels. So we all feel, say, when you touch a cold thing, we feel cold. When you touch a hot thing, we feel hot. That's because of your blood vessels and nerves. Now, ducks do not have these blood vessels in their feet. So it actually enables them to swim even in ice cold water. Wow, isn't that amazing? It's like having some superpower, right? Yes. So which superpower would you like to have? Think about it and let me know when we meet. Now, moving on to the beaks of the birds. It's getting more and more interesting, I know. And now, y'all are going to become so observant. Every time a sparrow comes on your window, you're going to look at its claws, you're going to look at its feet, you will look at its beak and the colors and the shape, right? Great. So different birds have different kinds of beaks. From the shape of a bird's beak, we can tell the type of food that it eats. Take for instance, if you look at a sparrow, pigeon, or a peacock, they'll have a short, hard, strong beak. Right now, I've given you pictures where you can actually notice they have a short, hard, strong beak. Now, why do they have a short, hard, strong beak? Simple. They eat grains and seeds. How are your grains and seeds? Of course, they're hard. So, in order to break them open, they have strong, hard beaks. All right. So that's how the beaks are of the birds that eat grains and seeds. Next is a parrot. So these two pictures are of the beak of a parrot. So parrots have a sharp curved beak, and such beaks help them to crack hard nuts. Yes, they have very, very strong beaks. They can actually cut open those hard nuts. Uh, you know how hard a walnut is? A crowd. So if you give a nut which is as hard as that to the parrots, they can easily break it open because look at the way their beaks are made. Like wow, they're sharp, and they're curved. Yeah. Okay. Now another thing I wanted to tell you all about is the very colorful bird that you see in this picture on the left is a parrot. Okay. And the green bird that you see commonly over here around is a parakeet. So parrots have a short tail and parakeets have a long tail. So if you ever see this green bird around us, around our houses, it's not really a parrot, but it's a misunderstood thing because you're children. But I just thought I could just add in a little bit of information because you all are very smart. So it's not a parrot, it's a parakeet. Alright. So the green birds you see with a long tail are parakeets. You promise to remember this? Yeah? Great. Moving. Now, there are some birds who live in water. Remember, we studied the feet of the birds uh, previously. Now we're studying the beaks of the birds. So, water birds like pelicans and ducks have a broad and flat beak. Now, why do they have a broad and flat beak? Simple, because they need to catch fish in the water, and it's a very they can catch the fish very easily through the water if they have long flat beaks. Also, these beaks have holes on the sides. Look at the planning that God must have made. Amazing. Because you know why? These holes in their beaks help the water birds to filter out the muddy water. So if you ever now I don't know whether you'll get to go look at a duck or a pelican, but try telling your parents to show you a few videos on how a duck feeds. So it'll dig its face in the water and muddy water, and it'll just sway it from side to side, side to side. That's how it's going to find the food, and the remaining water gets out from the nose, and it's easier for them to catch the fish. Pelican also has a little bag under the beak. If you see that extended skin, the white bird that is perched on that wooden log, you see the feet also, the webbed feet. Saw how amazing they are? Yeah. So that bird also has a little bag under its beak. So it grabs the fish and it removes all the water, and the fish then goes in the stomach. The last picture is also of another water bird. It's called a painted stork. It has a very long beak. Why? Because so that it can just put the beak in the water and get the fish out. He need not go fully into the water with his eyes and nose and everything inside all the time. Yeah. So this is it's an easier technique for birds to catch fish if they have a long beak. Now, the next kind of beak we are going to study about is the dangerous one. Not really dangerous, but yeah, these are raptors. Okay, raptors are nothing but flesh-eating birds. Like eagles and owls, have sharp, strong, and hooked beaks. Can you see the shape of the beaks? Can you imagine tearing it through the skin of animals? It can actually tear flesh. Beaks like these help them to tear the flesh of small birds and animals. See, it's their food. They have to eat their food. So that is why they are made like this. That is why they have a sharp hooked beak to tear into the flesh of other animals or birds. Yeah, it looks nice and dangerous, no? Okay. How do birds use their beak? Now, how it's like having a beak is like for us, it's like lips, but there is an extension above the lips for the birds, which is a beak. So birds use their beaks in many ways. Take for instance to catch and eat their food. We thankfully have hands to eat our food, but birds need to catch their uh, food or eat their food with their beak. Then the beak helps to keep their feathers clean and tidy. Again, no hands, so beak is doing the work of the hands. Then the feathers help to protect themselves. They also pick up things to build their nests with their beak. I'm sure right now, it being summer, a lot of birds are nesting, and you will find so many birds carrying little sticks and hay everywhere. Yeah, yes, I want you to notice that. And the last use of the beak is to feed their young ones. They pick up the worm or the grain and they get it back to their babies and they feed their young ones. And you know what? Woodpeckers use their beaks to make holes in the trunks of trees. You know why? Because there are insects inside. So they bore a hole in the tree, they take out the insect and they eat it. Nice, no? Such an amazing technique. Did you know that? Oh, I'm sure some of you all must be knowing that too. Anyway, I want you all to do a little activity. Okay, this is just a fun activity. It's called the bird watching time. So I want you all to explore your surrounding wherever you all live. All you have to do is just stand in your window or the balcony and observe. And this is the best time because it's summer and birds are nesting and we are in lockdown. So birds and animals are everywhere moving freely. And we are in the cages, no? Anyway, so you know the common birds we learnt about today? I'm still going to give you a list, and as you read, I'm sure you'll visualize. But if you can't, just go back to the picture in this particular presentation. You don't have to know all, it's just what you would remember when you look outside the window. So, all you have to do is take a little paper, or you can have a little birding diary, and I'll just on that page you write the name of the bird that you see. Say today I saw a cuckoo, okay, on one of the trees around. So I try to draw a little cuckoo in my own way. If I feel like coloring it, I'll color it. Okay. Then I'm going to write down how it looked like to me. So maybe I probably write it is black in color like a crow, but it is slightly bigger than a crow. Then I only saw it in the day. I tried to look for it in the night. It wasn't there. So it was seen in the day. I also saw it eat fruits and insects and berries. Then it had a beautiful voice and it was singing beautifully. So you can add to these features. Now I've given you only four. If for you it could be 1, 2, 10, as many as you want. As many as you want. So all you have to do is you just have to make a little diary. On each page you write the name of the bird uh, you probably have seen, and then you make a little note. Now, one more thing you can do is how often did you see it in a week's time? So you just keep drawing one line every time you see the birdie. Go to your bird book. So maybe you're just having your milk by the window and you see the cuckoo and you get all excited. Yeah, I saw the cuckoo. You come back to your birding book, draw one little line at the end of the page, like how often I saw it, and in a week how many times you've seen it. Just keep marking, and then at the end of the week just write I saw the cuckoo say 4 times in one week. I saw it 10 times. I saw it only once. Whatever it is. See, this is just a fun activity to keep you all occupied. Okay, so here we are done with our first part of this interesting chapter. There is a lot more. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed this video with me. Thank you for being with me. This is Miss Monali Godambe signing off from online learning. Bye bye.